And salutations, everyone. Thank you for clicking on the video. Today, we're going to be doing something that I've always wanted to do, and that is take a full-blown project, take a full project, and go through all the takeoff, um, all the trades. You know, I have a lot of people that come to my videos asking for specifically MEP, for instance, or carpentry, or something that really doesn't get mentioned. Doesn't get a lot of love, like walls and concrete and things like that, painting. But we're going to do that today. So you can actually look this up. The Dallas County Community College. This is an existing site. I would bring it up on Google, and maybe we will do that because it is good sometimes to get familiar with what's actually on the site versus relying on what the plans provide. So that's always a good practice. But we don't want to get too much into the weeds. We want to get into the takeoff because I've done how to read a cover sheet and explain a lot of these things. So we're not going to stay on this too much longer. But we do want to look and see how the drawings are set up. So we've got a cover sheet and some general information. So we'll know and note that is somewhere that we may have to refer back to when it's time to look at what an abbreviation stands for. If we see a certain symbol, this is a good place to start. And then we get into our civil plans. Now they have a horizontal control plan, a paving plan, some other things here. And so we'll probably take a look at the paving plan first and take off for paving on the site. And so then we have landscaping, architectural in here. And so the landscaping is telling us that there's a courtyard. There's a library reading area that's somehow in the landscaping drawing, so that's interesting. There's some landscaping, I guess, around the building entrance. So these are things that we can tell just by reading here. So along the project, they're going to break the drawings up into two parts, A and B, because they want to be able to show a lot of details and really zoom in. And so with that, with the building being so large, you have to break it up into two different areas. So you'll notice area A and B as we go along here. There's an area A and B for that. And all this stuff is typical. There's stair plans, ceiling plans, roof detail. There's a mechanical yard, plans and details. So there's that. And then we get into our structural, which would probably be the next thing that we get into here. Once we start talking about the building itself and everything in it. And then you have your mechanical plans, your plumbing plans, electrical, and technology. So that is that. Now let's take a gander down here at the general symbols and see how those are set up. And so we'll just take a quick look and we'll know if something's confusing. We'll go back and run to it. And like I said, if you're not familiar with all of these, you have several resources I've put out there for free, or I have a blueprint reading course that's on Udemy. I'll drop that link below as well. But now let's go ahead and get started. And so the next sheet we have is the code compliance. Again, I've done a video on this and I won't spend a lot of time, but here is where you're going to find how the architects and engineers, what building codes they reference when putting the building together. And so there's things in here. It tells you the total building area. It mentions some other things. It tells you the type of construction this is. And then you get into some fire resistance rating requirements. It tells you if there are any fire resistance, and it doesn't look like there's any right there. So in other words, there's not going to be a need to spray the structural members to steel and stuff like that with fireproofing because there's no rating called out for them. So anyway, means of egress, this is going to tell you about first it talks about the total occupancy size. So it's listing out per area how many square feet a person should have in that room. So if I'm one person, I need to have a certain amount of square feet. It says here in the library per 50 square foot per person. So in the library, every one person should be able to have 50 square feet around them. and it's saying that that is equaling to 36 occupants in the building. So this is how they calculate things like building occupancy. You can see there's a formula here where they take the total square footage of the area and then they divide it by a certain rule, which in this case is 100 for the business area, and it gives you the amount of occupants you can have. The last things we'll look at here is with this total amount of occupancy, you have to figure out a safe way to get everyone out of the building in case of a fire or emergency. And so that's what all of this is talking about is in a given, let's say there's a gym in this building, and there's not, but let's say there's a gym in this place. This would tell you that there needs to be a certain amount of exits, maybe 2, and they all need to be a certain width to allow a certain amount of people through there in a given amount of time. And so these are all things that are calculated, and we won't get into them much here, but I see that there are some other things, some other architectural symbols that have found their way on this page, so we may need to refer back to it. And there are material symbols for things that you'll see, and so you can run back to that if you're not sure about what a material symbol is. Now, I think we're finally ready to get into the plans. And just really quick, let me show you what all of that looks like on the plans. We just looked at these charts on the paper. And so this overall life safety plan demonstrates some of those things I was just talking about. So right here, this says travel distance. That is the distance from this corner of the classroom to outside the nearest exit. And you can see a lot of those scenarios drawn out here as the travel distance to the nearest exit. There's a certain requirement that they have to stay within, and that what was all spelled out on that other sheet. And so here you can see the occupancies, loads for these areas, and some other things. But we're going to move on because we want to get into the civil sheets. All right, so here we have the paving plan. So this is going to show your parking lot, your site area stuff, maybe those little islands that they have out in the parking lots. It's also going to show light poles and some other things like signage that may be on the site. So let's look at that. Well, first of all, the first thing we want to look at is the scale. We want to get an idea of what we're looking at. So the scale here is 1 inch equals 40 feet. So I've drawn out about 30 feet there to demonstrate that that is 30 feet. And we know a parking space. We're all familiar with parking spaces. So this parking space here is a 20-foot parking space. That's what is drawn out right there. Now, as we go through here, let's gather some questions and see that we can answer the questions in the notes. So I noticed that there is a pattern here along this roadway, and then on the inside, once you get to the parking lot, you get to a different pattern. I'm also noticing that there are some hashed lines connecting certain areas, and then there are some things that are spelled out for us. Here's our actual building here, and they did mention a courtyard. I'm guessing that that's the courtyard area right there. The entrance to the building appears to be right here because this looks like a crosswalk or something leading to it. Would you guys agree to all this? Anyway, you go to the legend here, and these are where your answers are getting answered. So you got light duty paving right here, heavy duty pavement right there. Fire lanes are right there. Those are showing the fire lanes. And you have your sidewalks. There's a couple shown, sidewalks right there. Sidewalk all along there, and then 2 to 4 inch irrigation lines. Or is that, oh, that's 2 4-inch irrigation lines. So you see them right here. 2, 1 right there, 1 right there. They're both 4-inch irrigation lines for sprinklers. Now, further into the notes, it spells out that heavy duty class pavement is 6-inch concrete, class C. This is a 5-inch on the light duty, so once you get to parking, you're a little more thinner on your concrete, and your sidewalks are 4, and then it gives you some information about the subgrade, the dirt, the soil that's beneath all the concrete. It tells you that it needs to be mixed 8 inches thick and remixed 6 inches thick, and shall be stabilized with 6% minimum by weight of hydrated lime and compacted. So it's giving you a variety of stuff to mix into the soil, and it's giving you and it's also telling you that it needs to be compacted down 95% in order for you to pass an inspection. So if your soil isn't compacted 95%, you can't move on with the rest of the things. So this is really important. All right, so let's go ahead and let's create these items here. We've got heavy duty pavement. That is 6 inch. So we're going to call that out right there. Now, a couple of things. We'll get the area, but we want this first item to be cubic yardage so that we can calculate how much concrete we need. Now, we can also calculate formwork if we do a perimeter here. That'll give us the total length of formwork. So now, we're just going to do the takeoff. Okay. So what did we do here? We did a bunch of takeoff. I didn't back out any areas because I'm going to do that here in a second. But now we've got our heavy duty pavement takeoff, and it looks like a lot of cubic yards so far. So let's now go in here, and we're going to choose the back out mode to put something to these some of these other things here. You know what? We're just going to run through this whole thing. All right. So now let's create our light duty deal here. Bring this up. Light duty, 6 inch, 5 inch this time. All right, so we should be able to double click in here, and now that takes care of that. Okay, and then we'll do back out one more time here, I think. Last time, I don't know. All right, so now they've got a couple of parking spaces here that are also light duty. Okay, so there's that. Now, next we'll have our sidewalks. See, there's varying sizes of the sidewalk pattern right here. It's a little crooked. It's the paper it's the drawings that are off here. Yeah, you see how it, yeah. All right, now we have those irrigation lines. Now there's 2 of them, so we're going to label them as according. 2 4-inch irrigation. All right, and so start right here. All right, So I think we've taken off all the irrigation lines, and that's about all that we're going to do today for that. There are some other things in here to note. There's a white stop bar. It says to furnish and install a stop sign, saw cut and remove existing curb and gutter, furnish and install another stop sign there. There's a monumental sign. It says refer to the architecturals. And there's a few things that it will tell you to refer to other drawings for. Like here, furnish and install an emergency call box. Refer to electrical drawings for details. And here there's a camera. Install PTZ camera, building mounted. Refer to electrical drawings for details. So I see there's another piece of... Oh. Why didn't you guys tell me this? Whoops. Oh. Why didn't you guys tell me that I have the wrong thing here and I actually didn't finish up the paving? All right, just had to do that. I'm OCD. So now we have a completed, partially, mostly completed paving plan takeoff. So if you didn't know how to do that, now you know. The program I was using, I've been using, is called On-Screen Takeoff. This is version 4.0, and it's got the takeoff boost feature in there. So check that out. I'll also link down below my landing page on ConstructConnect's website in case you want to get a free demo of the program or something like that. But anyway, I'm going to get back to this, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.